Sussan Ley's days are numbered as opposition leader. It seems increasingly likely she'll be rolled a week from Tuesday when the Liberal party room meets. Now, Liberal MP Andrew Hastie has begun preparing a challenge and intends to stand for the leadership if a spill is called at that meeting on February 3rd, though this is hinging on whether or not Shadow Defence Minister Angus Taylor can demonstrate support for himself to take the role. But look, there's no doubt the time has come. Sussan Ley has had a great summer. She held the Prime Minister to account after the Bondi massacre. She's been strong on radical Islam. She pushed Anthony Albanese, of course, daily to call a royal commission. And eventually he was dragged kicking and screaming into doing so. So how did it all fall apart? Well, this week in Parliament has been a monumental disaster thanks to the divide over hate speech laws. 3 Nationals, of course, quit. Sussan Ley didn't have a choice but to accept their resignations. But where was the joint party room meeting? I mean, this seriously all could have been prevented. And this would have been a real prime opportunity for the Liberal Party to take a stand, reject the hate speech laws and be the party of free speech. But that alternative government that Conservative voters are crying out for is not there. And now these laws will decide what does and does not constitute hate speech. It's utter madness. And Anthony Albanese has gone from having a shocker of a summer to sitting on the sidelines laughing because the pressure is off him. He sought to divide the coalition through rushed legislation and his wedge succeeded. The coalition is split. The Nationals have said see you later. The Liberals are going solo. Sussan Ley is all at sea. A new Liberal leader appears to be in the mix, and by all accounts, there's no way the coalition can rejoin under Sussan Ley. A Nationals leader, David Littleproud, this morning refused to deny that he told her to resign as the coalition broke up.
You want Sussan Ley to go. You told Sussan Ley to resign in that phone call, didn't you? Didn't you?
Andrew, I'm not going to get into your gossip. What I'm talking about is
you can deny
the reality is this, Andrew.
You can deny that
Andrew,
told Sussan Ley to resign. But you know
Andrew,
it's true.
I'm not going to dignify. Andrew, I'm not going to dignify and get into your gossip. You want to deal in gossip, I'm going to deal in fact.
It's not gossip. It's what you said to her, and you're not denying it, David Littleproud.
Yeah, it's a mess, isn't it? The coalition is split at a time when we so desperately need unity in the wake of Bondi, at a time when this country needs strong leadership, because we certainly don't have that from the Prime Minister, and we certainly don't have that from a divorced alternative government. No wonder One Nation is now more popular than ever. So, a crossroads for the Liberals and Nationals. As Simon Benson writes in The Australian today, this existential moment has now arrived for the Liberal Party and the Nationals. Both are terrified by the threat of One Nation's populism, but are equally devoid of a strategy to counter it. No one appears to have asked the question, how do 3 competing parties on the right all survive? The answer is they can't. And look, that's an interesting point because this divorce will only seek to bolster Pauline Hanson further and keep an already power-hungry Anthony Albanese power-hungry even longer. So where to even start? Well, right now there's no alternative. From the Liberals, a new leader, one who is strong and conservative, is the best start they can get because moderates cannot win government. And already it seems the prospect of an Andrew Hastie or an Angus Taylor in charge is worrying Labor. Here was Murray Watt on Sky News this morning.
But it's not as if the Liberals have good choices to make, either the most extreme leader they've ever had or a bumbling shadow treasurer who wanted to lift taxes.
Well, this is straight out of the left's playbook, isn't it? I mean, the progressive left, they love to label anyone who disagrees with their point of view as extreme when the issues at hand are actually mainstream. And Murray Watt was pushed by political editor Andrew Clennell on what exactly he meant.
Why are you calling Andrew Hastie extreme?
He has started and tried to lead this debate within the Liberal Party to follow One Nation to the right on matters like migration and other things as well. I mean, if people are looking for One Nation policies, they'll vote for One Nation. They don't need a One Nation pretender in disguise in the form of Andrew Hastie.
A One Nation pretender in disguise. Why? Because Andrew Hastie supports migration cuts, is worried about social cohesion, is worried about radical Islam and how we counter that. Again, all very mainstream views, nothing big and bad or scary about it. And Murray Watt didn't stop there.
So why is Mr Hastie extreme? I mean, you've called him extreme. What's extreme about him? I mean, a lot of people would like to see less migration.
And that's exactly what our government has done. Our government has brought down net overseas migration by 40%
but what's extreme about Andrew Hastie? Can you just qualify this statement?
I mean, everyone understands that our migration level needed to come down in Australia, and that's what the government has done. But we haven't done it in a way that demonises migrants. I mean, remember Andrew Hastie's comments about being strangers in our own country, the sort of comments that we've seen from far-right elements in the UK.
Well, the comments strangers in our own country were actually echoed only last year by this UK leader.
Now, in a diverse nation like ours, and I celebrate that, these rules become even more important. Without them, we risk becoming an island of strangers, not a nation that walks forward together.
Is Murray Watt suggesting Keir Starmer, one of the most woke left socialist leaders in the world and that Britain has ever seen, is part of the far-right element in which he refers to? Please. When I watched the vision of two gunmen allegedly committing murder in the name of jihad in Bondi, I too felt like a stranger in my own country. Newsflash, Murray, it doesn't make me extreme or far-right. Though I wonder where my statements would sit in the eyes of the law under Labor's new hate speech laws, but I digress. But these terms extreme and far-right are part of the left's manifesto. I mean, Labor doesn't want to address these issues that you're worried about, the ones that the next Conservative leader needs to. The majority of Aussies want immigration cuts and better checks and balances. Just 17% believe social cohesion in Australia is high, 36% believe it's low, and 38% say moderate. Yet the Prime Minister went as far today as to accuse the former coalition of mirroring one nation.
We've seen them adopt one nation policies and shift to the right, and the problem here is that what that is doing is legitimising the hard right policies that One Nation advocate for. You can't fight One Nation by being a lighter version of them.
Given that One Nation is on the rise and is more popular than ever, does he seriously think that's an insult? I mean, he clearly has not grasped the mood of the nation. Pauline Hanson is a big winner of the summer. More and more Aussies are resonating with her and her policies. Anthony Albanese was then asked whether he would start treating One Nation as the real opposition.
What we point out, David, and we'll continue to do so, is the damage that One Nation policies would do to our national unity, that the politics of just identifying grievance and not coming up with solutions is a cul-de-sac that doesn't lead the country anywhere.
Well, Labor's going to have to come up with something better than that. In the latest news poll, the Liberals at a national level are now in third place. That's a minor party status. But One Nation has recorded a historically high level of support at 22% in their primary vote. Now, look, I don't care about the internal politics of the Liberal Party, but I do care about this country, where it's heading and what it means for future generations and who will lead it. And as I said, moderates can't win government. Our future hinges on a strong opposition to take Australia forward with guts. None of this wishy-washy, half in, half out, don't know what we stand for and where we are nonsense. The moderates, or the teals, really, of the Liberals have a lot to answer for. But what a blight on Conservative politics to have the right split. And what a shame for Conservative voters. And I do hope with a new leader, the Liberal Party can get back to its roots that Robert Menzies made a mandate of. And they can't govern without the Nationals. So for the sake of this country, get a move on.